Hi everyone. I have this cute little duck that I'm putting on top of the little tripod thing over here. So it's representing you guys. So I'm not just talking to a camera and I have an audience. Hello. Yeah, fun fact about me. I don't know if anyone else can relate to this, but I like to get into pajamas the second I walk into my house. So it's very, 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 very rare of me to be lounging in my house with the clothes that I like wore to outside of the house. So if I was to like go somewhere, I would put on different clothes. I would go out, and then when I get back to the house, I would change into my pajamas. Even if I know I'm gonna be leaving again in an hour or two, I still would change into my pajamas for that hour or two and then change again when I'm leaving the house. So I don't know if anyone else relates to this, but yeah. I could just wear like my pajamas out, but it's just something about like changing out of the clothes that you were just out and about into when you get into your house. So that's, yeah, little quirky fact about me. So anyways, hope everyone is having an amazing day, and just sending well wishes to all. So yesterday we went to a community game night, and it was cool. It was just a community getting together and playing board games or whatever type of games, hanging out, talking, and we were there, and it was at a location where they also host like after school care and stuff, and so we were hanging out in one of the classrooms with some friends, and I remember seeing on the wall a little sign that said like integrity when no one is watching. Integrity is what you do when no one is watching, and it just reminded me, like had me thinking when I read that sign, because I'm pretty sure most of us have read that or heard that before, or something like it, a similar quote. And it had me thinking, because I remember like one time my son and I were at a beach park, and there wasn't like people around, but I remember seeing like a plastic bag, and it like blew off the side of like the railing, and I had to like climb over the railing, like not like climb over, like it wasn't a railing where like I'm climbing a fence or anything, but it's like I had to climb on this little like like a little concrete little like walkway thing, and it's kind of like off into like where like kind of like the plants and the like where they have like the shrubs and stuff. So I like went over to that like shrub area, and I went to pick up like the plastic bag so I can throw it out because it flew over there. And someone there was right next to that beach park. It's also like a boat harbor, so it's like it sits adjacent to it. And somebody from like the boathouse like yelled out like when my son and I were trying to get out, like, someone's always watching, like, thank you. They were so appreciative that we were picking up the garbage. And that reminds me of like how when I'm out and about, like on walks at a park or whatever, and I see, like garbage on the floor or something, like my natural instinct is like, oh, what can I do to, leave the place better, Um, and so I would just walk around, like if we're at a park, we're hanging out, and my kids playing. I'll walk around and I'll pick up like juice boxes or little wrappers from whatever. Just I'll go around and pick things up and just like throw in the garbage, and I'm walking around and hanging out as I'm doing that. So it's fun, and for me, it's like integrity, like it's what you do when you feel like no one is watching, and the no one. I think the interpretation of the no one in that quote is what you do when there aren't other people watching. Obviously, someone is always watching because there's that and then there's that like And then there's that consciousness that's connected to all, you know, um, that's you as well. So everyone is always watching, but the when no one is watching, what they mean is when no other people are watching, And so with that quote, for me, what I find that sometimes is intimidating is what you do when people are watching, integrity, like what you do when people are watching. And like, because it's like, for me, it's like, I find that I get nervous and intimidated sometimes when I am like at a park and there's like a group of like parents like hanging out on the playground, and they're standing there like in a group together, like chatting, having fun, whatever. And I'm over, and I look over and I see like on the playground, on the playground floor right there, like a bunch of like wrappers or candy wrappers, or kids like leaving like food wrappers or whatever it is, right below like their feet right there. And sometimes like when I go around pick up garbage and I see like, oh, there's a group of people, like I'm like, oh, it's like oh, I feel like weird or feel like shy or embarrassed to go pick up the garbage like right next to them because they're standing right next to it. But then I'm like, that's integrity. Like that's like, and I remind myself, like, be brave and do it. Because it's like, if I don't be brave and do it, then I'm lowering myself. Like then I'm like, I feel like I'm being scared to like be myself, because that's myself. Like that's myself, So if I am not comfortable like doing that with people standing there, then I'm not comfortable like being myself. So like I'll go and I'll pick up the garbage like right in front of them. And I'm like thinking to myself, man, maybe somebody looks down and they're like, whoa, like I didn't even notice there was all those, snack wrappers on the floor right there next to us. Or someone will look and be like, wow, she's brave. Like I thought about picking those up too, but I was shy to do it, or I felt intimidated to look weird, doing it. Or, someone could look and be like, that's so awesome that, she's helping to clean up the park. So I look at it that way. And in my heart, I know that I'm contributing positively. And I know that, that like what I'm doing is good. It's great, So yeah, so just little reminder, like just be brave to be ourselves, especially like, be brave to be ourselves when we know that, that what we're doing is positive, So that's a reminder for me. So integrity, is what you do, and just know that, everyone's always watching because you are watching, and remember, like you are everyone. So remember that. Anyways, yeah. What else? Oh yeah, one more thing. I just, something that I talked about in my previous video, how I feel that I'm a sensitive being, and with that, like I feel deeply, and I care deeply, and for me, it's like I see everything as divine. Oh, and real quick, just backing up on the whole like picking up garbage thing. I just want to make a note that I recall being like in my teenage years, like throwing wrappers and throwing stuff, garbage out of like the car, like friends' cars, like in my early teenage years and stuff, or throwing something in a bush. So just letting you know that I wasn't picking up garbage at the parks since the moment I came out of the womb. So, there were moments where I look back and I'm embarrassed at, or, I have learned from previous behaviors. So, and I continue to learn from previous behaviors. And yeah, so I just want to be able to I just want to make that clear, that, yeah. So, for me, it's like when when I'm speaking to someone, I see them as this like divine being. And it's not even just when I'm speaking to like human beings, but like I see it in the trees and the birds, the bees, the raccoon friends we have in our backyard. I just, I feel this very deep, like spiritual connection to all. And so sometimes it scares me because, if I'm seeing something that you know, doesn't sit right with me, you know, I view that I feel a connection to that as well. So it's like if I'm having a conversation with someone and the way that they're speaking to me feels like it's coming with it has a heavy energetic like a heavy energy to it, because I'm very sensitive to energy. Like I'm like a just a like a energetic being, like very aware and sensitive to energies. So if I'm speaking to someone and I feel like the conversation, the way that they're speaking to me is coming, it has a lot of like energetic weight to it. And it feels the way that they're speaking, because like for me, in the middle of a conversation, I consciously know, like, oh, the way this person is speaking sounds like it's coming from, a hurt inside of them. And so, for me, it's like, okay, it triggers me to be patient, be compassionate, and to reflect that divine being back at them. But, when the person is saying things that are that you feel like that are hurtful things, for me it like like I can choose to be like this complete like unpenetrable like wall, like where like nothing can penetrate, but like at the same time it's like, okay, I'm loving and I'm caring, so obviously I love and I care, and obviously like I'm listening with loving awareness. So when it feels like someone is saying things that to me I interpret as because I'm sensitive to energy, because I am sensitive, I try to, for me, to maintain grounded and, stay rooted in love during that conversation. And I sometimes will, feel hurt from, from the way that I'm being spoken to. And at the same time, it feels hurt because it feels like, since I'm viewing you and myself, if I'm viewing us as like divine beings, and like this divine being that I'm having a conversation with is speaking to me in a way that is making me feel sad, making me feel like they are talking in a way that's putting me down, then for me it feels like it's just like, oh, like, why is God talking to me like so harshly? Like, why is, like, what, like, why, like, so it's just, for me, it's a reminder, because I think about, like, if I'm feeling that way, like, how do you think, like, kids feel and when I say kids, it's like, okay, it could be like the physical kids of physical age, but obviously we're all like our inner child. We're all children. I'm still a child, and and I also have an inner child, so it's like, and so we are our inner child, and we're all children, and so it tells me that, like, if I'm able to feel this, like, hurt, and ask, and have those, like, and have those, like, inner questions being asked, how do these, like, how do you think children, like, physical little children, feel when, you know when their, parents, or relatives, or friends, or caregivers, teachers, or just anyone, like, that is, communicating with them, speaks to them in a way that, is like, you know, yelling at them or harshly speaking to them, how it would make them feel if it affects me that way. Because, like, I feel like they would feel the same way. Like, if, because when someone speaks to you harshly, like, it makes you feel like, okay, I know, like, what I'm doing. Like, when someone takes out their stuff on you, right? And now, like, for me, it's like, I'm aware, um, you know, um, and, like, consciously know that, like, okay, like, this person, looks like they're going through something, and, like, they're taking it, like, just releasing it on you. And so, if I'm aware of that, and I'm, like, can distinguish, like, okay, I understand that this person, just needs, uh, the support right now, the compassion, the empathy right now, and I'm able to, distinguish, that, you know they're having, going through something, a rough moment, and, it's, you know and, they might not be their, self right now. Okay, so how would a little kid, um, feel if, like, parents, or, people are taking their stuff out on the little kids, because, like, they and then they feel like they did something bad, or they are bad, but they didn't do anything wrong at all, you know it's just because, like, the grown adult, was having a bad day, or they, you know just were going through, or they're going through something at the time, or, so it's something that I am really, 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 really aware of. um you know and so I just, and I'm sensitive to it, and I see it, like, when I see, like, little kids getting, like, yelled at or something, like, and I just see, it's almost like a dog, like, how is feeling, like, scared, and they'll put their tail between their legs, and I can feel the energy of that kid, just feeling so sad, and so confused, and so scared, because it's like, what did I do wrong? And, like, there's times where I see him, like, oh my gosh, like, nothing, you didn't do anything wrong, and so, just something to think of, and that's just how it is, even if you're talking to an adult, that, it's just kind of like, when you're talking to a little child that is having a rough moment, and they could be like crying, or they could be having a burst of emotions, and I try to view that even like when an adult is having when a physical adult is having a burst of emotion, um, because it's like that right there. When you like look at them, you're like, okay, you might be looking at like a physical adult having like a burst of emotion or emotions, but it's like I see and feel that it's coming from their inner child. So it's like no, that's a child, having a burst of emotion. And so for me, it's like, just a reminder that we all are children. And so important to do our best to be kind and to speak with loving awareness. And yeah, so, and also give ourselves grace, because that's one of the things that I realized, that I work so hard on grounding myself, and staying present and being conscious and aware, and then if I catch myself like saying something or doing something, or like something like I started getting a little frustrated with something, or I'm really good at catching myself like in the moment, but I noticed that I can be hard on myself. Like I recorded a video, and then I'm like, something really small, like I recorded a video, and I'm like, I realized that like I meant to say square and I said rectangle, like on this like short about a box, about folding a box. And that's part of the reason why I feel like it's, when you have these conversations with people, and it's like and conversation is going, like it's moving fast, and like for me, like I will, my brain like reflect, like continues to process that conversation and reflects on it in the background. And it does that, like if I went and had a conversation with a neighbor, and then I go about my day, like I don't know if people like have conversations and then it just ends there, and it's just like like it's kind of like they just leave it there and it's done. For me, my brain continues to process that conversation and like dissect it, reflect on it, like piece together, like the energy that was like the energy that I felt during that conversation, like if there was like energetic weight to their conversation, like their tone of their voice, like try to like kind of like you can see between the lines, the pauses, the silence, the the gesture, the body language, like the just like like you can really like feel like what they meant, or like it's just, you can really understand the conversation. So, and I continue to process like the words I said and the words that they said, so it continues to run like in the background. And then for me, it's like sometimes it will continue to run, and I will nitpick this little like, oh, why did I say that? Like that's not in alignment with what I really mean. Like I said that because we were speaking quickly, and what I really meant is this. And then so it's kind of like conversations get intimidating, because you're like, I really meant to say this. And sometimes I will like, if I see the person again, like, oh, when I said that, I really meant this, or sometimes I would text like, oh, just heads up, like, this is what I meant, sometimes I just tell myself like, leave it, it's okay. They probably just like already had that conversation and dumped it. I don't know. Do other people replay and process and reflect like I do? So yeah, I, have a lot like running. And so I just, I feel like me having this channel is actually like really helpful because I'm like speaking, trying to like explain like how I work, like just how I work and like what, like how, like what's like, just explain, like, because I like for me it's like it's in here. It's like it's like my mind, body, soul, spirit, heart, and it's in here. It's in here and it all makes sense. It's all pieced together. But like being able to like verbally communicate it or not just verbally, but being able to communicate it where other people understand it is I feel like, where you feel understood, and yeah, because I feel like this channel helps me kind of close some of those running things that are just going in the back. And I'm like, I have too many windows open, like I need to close some of them, So it just felt like working on overdrive. And and I do a really, really, really good job of practicing mindfulness and staying grounded and but it just happens where I just have a lot of stuff going, and it just it all comes down to because I love and I care so deeply. So yeah. But anyways, I that comes back to me like just being able to give yourself grace, because it's like kind of like the same thing when I think about like musicians and like singers, like artists, when they let's say they released a song and then like 30, 40, 50 years later, is that song in alignment, the energy of that song, or that song in alignment with their life currently at this very moment, like a big chance it's not. I mean, there could be a chance that, it is, it still is, but there are songs, and I guess it's I guess it's like, it's just thinking of like, putting out, like we want, for me, like, I want to be understood, and understood as like, it's understood in a positive way, because that is my intention is with love. And so I feel like I don't know, I feel like people know, because I know when I'm speaking to someone that their intention is with love. And so I feel like people do know, like people can feel it and they just know. So yeah, anyways, that's it for now. Thank you so much. If you have watched this whole video and you heard me just talk a little bit more about myself, thank you so much. That means so much to me. I'm truly grateful and am blessed, and I sincerely am so grateful for my life. And yeah, and I just thank you for your patience, and thank you for just caring. And yeah, thank you so much. Blessings.